Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We're going to do a preview of the NBA playoffs right now with Jordan Sharp, who's been contributing previews of the TNT games every Thursday on SBR, and he's been doing pretty well with them, right, Jordan? Thanks for being here, and you came out positive units, didn't you?
Yeah, we came out positive units for the year. We still have one pending for tonight for a unit and a half. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster throughout the season, but, we did pretty good on the year.
Hey, man, congratulations. No, anytime you're up units, you're way ahead of this game. All right, so let's talk about the NBA playoffs coming up. It's Thursday right now, so the last game of the season is tonight, and the actual series odds are not out yet, but the conference championship and the NBA championship futures are. So let's start with the East. Now, Miami's the favorite. They're actually the odds-on favorite. At Pinnacle, they're minus 118 to win the Eastern Conference. But, you know, they were only 32 and 33 against the spread on the year, and Miami just seems to, I don't know, I just get the feeling that over the years since the Big Three has come together, they've kind of disappointed a little bit against the spread. The Bulls, on the other hand, they're the second choice. They're plus 180. They were 37 and 27 against the spread. And the Bulls, I get the opposite feeling. They tend to be a good bet against their numbers. What's your take on those two teams?
Well, for the Heat, Peter, obviously you're going to have you're not going to have them with a very good ATS record on the season because they're so hyped. And this year it's been a little different from last year because last year it's a little bit of a deja vu from this year with the Bulls and the Heat. The Heat were favorites to win the Eastern Conference in the future odds, even though the Bulls were the #1 overall seed. But with the Heat this year, I think that you really have to look at what their road record has become, and
right.
you know, like what they've done on the road is one of the really big issues that they've had right now. And even though they're favored to win the East, like you said, I mean, the Bulls seem to do a lot better against the spread because I think teams tend to undervalue the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah. I mean, the one reason why that Bulls number might be a little bit inflated is because Derrick Rose has been injured and maybe they're not cohesive. I mean, how much credence do you give to that idea?
Well, you know, I mean, if anybody follows me, I am level 10 Chicago Bulls fan. Mm-hmm. I love this team. And I really think that, you know, as a Bulls fan, I'm kind of worried right now about the Bulls heading into the playoffs. I mean, obviously, Derrick Rose and Rip Hamilton, their starting backcourt has not played many games together this season. And that is going to hurt them. But at the same time, this is the type of team that doesn't necessarily need all their parts working at 100% to be the best team they can be. They're such a complete team on the offensive end, especially on the defensive end, and their bench is just outstanding. I mean, they have the ability to cover spreads without their best players, like Rose having his best games every night.
So it sounds like you're pretty high on the Bulls then. So if you had to take either Miami at minus 118 to win the East or the Bulls at plus 180, which bet would you take?
I think plus 180 on the Chicago Bulls is easy money to take. And that's not even me speaking as a Chicago Bulls fan, Pete. I got to tell you, the Bulls are better than they were last year. And I think that's even with the injury concerns that they have. And this goes back to kind of my point of why I think the Heat are a little bit overvalued here is because teams have had a year to look at them. Teams have had a whole season, a whole 2 seasons now actually, to kind of look at them, game plan for them, and they know what their weaknesses are.
So would you even say that the Bulls, you'd make them even a slight favorite over Miami, in your opinion?
I wouldn't say that they're a slight favorite. I would almost put them at even money right now. The big thing for Miami, obviously, is LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, or whether or not they can play to the caliber of what they play. LeBron James had an outstanding Eastern Conference Finals last season. He was hitting threes, I think, at almost 50% against the Bulls, and that's what really killed him last year. If he can do that again this season, it's going to be tough for the Bulls. But once again, I think the Heat aren't as good as they were last year. I think that they're really more reliant on the Big Three than they were last year. And if all 3 of them aren't having the kind of series that they need to have, they're not going to advance in the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, and then what about like Indiana? Outside chance or no chance? I mean, they've been playing pretty well, right?
Indiana has a good chance, I think. I think them and Boston are the teams you need to look at in the Eastern Conference. I think that Indiana has a good chance because they're built a lot like the Bulls. They're a team that has a deep bench. They play pretty good defense, and they have a pretty good ability to score the ball. Last time I checked, they were 20-1 in the Eastern Conference. That might not be a bad value bet to put, you know, just like a flyer unit on because, I mean, anything's possible right now in the playoffs with this shortened season.
Jordan Sharp, I think you may have convinced me. I think I'm leaning towards taking the Bulls at plus 180 to win the East and maybe a little on Indy and maybe a little bet on Miami, no, to not win the East. You approve of that?
I absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the West, okay?